This is Mile High.
We have to do it better in order to move people along.
Up, down, inside out.
If you get your mind right, it is not. It is a receiver of thought. Because love is my first technique.
It's now time for the show.
Welcome everyone. Mile has this. You'll know joining to us. If you're not yet, and you in Mile High, who would not subscribe? iTunes, YouTube, and is around the world loaded countries like super and so make clear if you have yet Mile High 17th is going to be the year. I want you to go to a high with us. You can www.milehigh.org to see. And today to be having us the one and only Dr. Steve Tullius. He is an ACP grad, and we are excited to have him doing incredible things with chiropractic. To the Mile, Dr. Steve.
Very much Danny. Everyone and here.
Happy to be here, and I'm also glad I'm here. Is you miss episode. So we are repeating that. We're both in different places now. So let's first get started with people getting to know you a little bit better. Can you share a little bit about your chiropractic background, how you found your way into this thing we call chiropractic?
Yeah, I got into chiropractic much like a lot of other people. I had an injury and I really supported my chiropractor had been going here, and he was I wanted things that he was, so I chiropractic goals and other family, and it was just such a different experience. It was like the juxtaposing the right, sterile environment of medicine to this chiropractic office where there's no connection between all the people and hugging and having this chiropractor and explain an body and nervous system of the first that was weight lifted that I know was there. Just and my experience, regular chiropractor, I was lots of ball injuries, weightlifting injuries, and so that kind of kept me in chiropractic really, and practice. It was still skill, and athletic performance. Then I was going into medicine, and I had a shoulder injury, and an orthopedic who just he didn't even touch shoulder. He asked me some questions, and was to take a look. So that was just like a light was like, well, not oil. And it just hit me like, wait, man, my chiropractor is helping all kinds of people. I'm, helped so tremendously, and so just at that moment, I wanted to be a chiropractor. My journey, I went to LECC, where I did not practice philosophy or the art of the or the science chiropractic. So pretty much learned chiropractic, and so that told to school and why not do this? I went there because it was close and because I would learn chiropractic after I got chiropractic. So I head down courses, great, what they want wanted me to learn and regurgitate. And then I got out and practiced and went to some seminars, Parker seminar first. I heard Dr. Sigafus speak, and fired up this thing called chiropractic, but I didn't really understand it. And then I went to seminars, and the thing that really will point frankly in California and see by in chiropractic. Later today, live on about I've seen this ugly division within the profession, and I saw how subluxation was being attacked. I saw how our side of the profession was being attacked, and so when you don't have tools or knowledge and experience to explain something within your position, you react, and I react anger, but I had to back it up. That's when I decided, I wanted to teach chiropractic, and if I had to do that, I better learn it. And so I took the Sherman chiropractic program, the Academy of Chiropractic program, and that was a definitely defining moment for me to come to understand what chiropractic is.
Outstanding. And you something things, but one of how much after those adjustments or how much your life change, call that chiropractic experience. And part of that divide in chiropractic is I think enough chiropractors have not, most chiropractors have had experience in their own, or the people that they care for, to see, wow, this works, or experience the tremendous impact of a true chiropractic adjustment. And then the result being is they're lost in what they're doing and don't get it in chiropractic school, and then it creates a challenge. That's part of why with Mile High we focus so much on students. Like, I know that students are missing out on the big idea, and I know you know that, as you just said, and we want to help more students get in a better path, because that's the future of our profession.
No, absolutely. And as you know, it's all been very purposeful. That other side of the profession it's been a war of attrition. Basically, making it so we can't reproduce our own, and we're relegated to having to teach chiropractic outside of chiropractic college to get them to understand the big idea. And you said they haven't even had a chiropractic experience because they've been manipulated.
Right.
And that's the other thing. We have this. We have so many layers and layers upon dysfunction in our profession, but this not understanding that a subluxation is different than a spinal lesion or a misalignment or a restriction, and then so our clinical skills are way different, and our product is different.
Right.
A different product on two sides of the profession,
and our outcomes are different. For the person, real challenge. And I'm grateful for leadership through that. And other programs and all part of my really now kids. You take a lot of kids. I was sad because I had like a moment where there was more kids adjusting results. And just it's really exciting to see families. How can chiropractors see more kids?
It's you really just have to decide that that's what you want to do. That's pretty simple, right? But that's how I started. I sold my practice in 2012. I took off on a trip around the world for 9 months, and so that was a lot of time to think about, okay, what do I want? What do I want my next practice to look like? And I decided I wanted it to be a pediatric and family practice, with a kids first mentality. In web design today, you hear a lot about mobile first, design. It's designed with the mobile device first in mind, then the desktop, because more people are using mobile phones. So I designed my practice with a kids first mentality. So that means all of my messages, all of my marketing, everything, my target, all based on scenes. And so I think a lot of it happened in practice chiropractors, I'd say the majority want to see more kids, but the messages are not congruent with that desire. It's very difficult to see more kids when your primary message is low back pain, neck pain, or auto accidents, things like that. The messages they don't gel, and they actually, it will push kids away. So starting with the kids first mentality, and then being consistent. That you just I went out into my community. I engaged my community, showing up. And sometimes things work in divine ways. I showed up it was at the end of a shift. I had just come to San Diego. I just finished adjusting. I was tired. I could have drove home. I was about to get off the off ramp, and then instead I said, no, I'm going to go to this meeting. It was talk about curing autism meeting for parents with children with autism. I showed up. Needed assistance with their audiovisual hookup and quite figured out, so I helped them with that. And oh, by the way, we need a speaker for next month. So walked up, introduced myself, and said, I often speak and on topics such as this, and if you need me to do so, I'd be happy to. And that was it. That was the moment that really positioned me into a specialist in pediatrics in San Diego, because I was able to engage my community, to show up not looking for something, but to understand their needs. So often we come to things, to whether it's to a BNI meeting or to a meeting a new practitioner or whoever, and it's always like, what's in it for me? Instead, just listen. Just listen. What are their needs? Don't even talk to yourself, and just wait to start. How they can help you too.
Yes, absolutely. And that's to success,
Right.
help their need that, and to get help you need instead of the other way around. Why do you think? And we kind of this is why. Why do you think people need as many chiropractic in the early of the profession?
Yeah, I think it comes down to a couple of things. One, we've already touched on it, that we simply aren't teaching or practicing chiropractic at the levels that we used to, amongst our practitioners and in our colleges. So number one, you mentioned the outcomes are different. Outcomes are way different when practicing a medical manipulation versus chiropractic. The other thing is, we're afraid to tell, if we are practicing chiropractic, we're afraid to tell people that, hey, you should come and get checked. Someone that has cancer, someone that has epilepsy, someone that has, whatever, and we're afraid to even put that out there, and not from a position of treating those conditions, but from a position of, hey, you need to have the best nerve supply possible to be able to function at your optimal health and human potential. And so we're afraid because chiropractors have been attacked. Chiropractors have been attacked through our history by, out from outside the profession. So there's some fear there, but there's more fear, and you can probably relate to this. Understanding the environment, there's fear of the state board coming in and attacking you. So I decided that I wasn't going to allow that any sort of fear interfere with my ability to fulfill my moral obligation. And I have a moral obligation, as we all do, once we understand the devastating effects of subluxation and the amazing results when we correct that interference. I had a moral obligation to share that with my community. And then the other piece is understanding then the science that supports everything we do. There's so much science, there's so much research that supports everything that we do, and the results coming out of my clinic, that if the state board wanted to come to me and say anything, I would take them to court, and I would battle that, and I would bet I would have the support of a lot of my friends and colleagues, such as yourself and others who understand that purpose and vision. So we're afraid, and we don't see the miracles, in school, so we don't even know that it's possible. And so I think those are the primary reasons.
And then what happens is we think else of more value the adjustment, right? So start putting all kinds of things, trying to adjust, may have other adjusting their arm, but they put down of the adjustment, and they're energy and attention to whatever that is. Lots of that for my health, first and foremost, I'm here to make sure people get adjusted and get their spines checked for subluxation, because there's no one else that.
Yeah, totally. We don't, as a profession, understand the power of restoration of normal cycles. What that means, restoration, recreation of cells. I talk to my practice members and I share with chiropractors, with that 7-year principle, of the body constantly recreating itself. Reggie Gold said this. I think this was from one of his talks. And I've used this throughout my career. When communicating with practice members, your body built itself sick.
Right.
Now it has to build itself well. Right. And it has to have a clear nerve supply in order to do so. So that's going to take time and repetition. So that's the other thing. We're not typically giving the process enough time. We're not typically giving it enough repetition and really understanding that process. We're stopping early. We don't have outcome measures a lot of times that give us guidance. I know before I incorporated objective measures in my practice, such as thermography and surface EMG and these other things, that I was discontinuing care way too early, or not discontinuing, but limiting the corrective care period. I wasn't recommending enough care to meet the needs of that individual and to correct the subluxation and then get into a supportive care phase and an optimal health and human potential phase of care. So I think that's another big part of it.
Absolutely, and that goes to outcome assessments for sure. And one of the scary things, because you mentioned thermography and EMG, and of course there's many other outcome assessments people can use, is so often people get these different outcome assessment tools and they use them to sell care. Okay, and that's well and good that what's going on, integrity of your, but this person don't measure, maybe because that show they're like afraid, changing and say to the patient rather than say, hey, this is a tool and it can actually make me a better chiropractor, whatever tool it is, because I can measure that the person's moving forward, and if they're not moving forward, I got to change my approach, right? Instead they put it, we don't have to, and it's ridiculous.
It makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no sense. So look, I can't tell you how many times chiropractor or new practice members have come in, and I've asked them, a little bit, trying to figure out what type of chiropractor they've been to, and I asked them, well, did they have technology like this that we use in the practice? They say, yeah, they did, but they never did it again. So yeah, it does a whole lot of sense. I know that you also do courses on interpreting scans too. That's an art in and of itself, and the interpretation and then the communication. I think a lot of times chiropractors are lacking both of those. They get the technology, but then they don't know how to interpret it or how to, communicate the changes that are going on. And so they're afraid, like you said, right, to actually do it.
Right. Yep. Exactly. So, and it's good to get people going in a better direction. Now, I know some of that part of what you're doing with neuro-developmental disorders. So, because you track people's progress in terms of tell everybody the results the unravel program actually first, and then we'll talk about the
Sure. So as I was telling you, with that very first presentation I gave to that TACA group, the Talk About Korean Autism, I had a program at that time called Autism and the Brain-Body Connection. It was just a program that I created to communicate, chiropractic to these individuals and how that tied into neurodevelopmental disorders. And so I was giving that for a couple of years, or maybe a year and a half, and I realized, well, just having the name autism in it just really limited that to then parents with children who are dealing with sensory processing issues or ADHD issues, or all this wide gamut of various symptoms that they can be labeled with. So I changed the name to Unraveling Neurodevelopmental Disorders because I realized that it really, and my own family was impacted by the situation. My son has a autoimmune condition known as PANDAS, pediatric autoimmune neuropsychiatric disorder associated with streptococcus, which unfortunately is a situation where his immune system reacts differently to, it can be, it doesn't have to be streptococcus, it can be any infectious trigger or even certain foods and things like that, chemicals in the environment, and it unfortunately attacks his brain, and so we didn't understand what it was first, and it was a long hard process of coming was even going through this, and so then we started with so the program help parents understand this thing going on of it's sick. It's not symptoms just the delay they have. Well, the parents right now talk to them where tell them the bigger of society and helping them how to bring them towards resources. I don't do any practice, do occupational therapy. I don't do these various of them often because limits a lot of these kids. Position myself, and that's what the program is. This special here's related with the. I think I might have shared this with or talk about it. I think reading and everybody knows this information. So exercise, sleep. No, they know these. So I tell them, look at cake with onions. Here's over some egg. I'm not going to crack and throw them in the and milk oven. That's take horsepower on top. So ask them how to have some of this, and ask them to do some. I use onions for health. These are you need to be. Why don't you take? So they come to oh well the steps is a piece. That's absolutely a piece of life and for we just haven't understand concept and therapy essential nerve system. And then go into the nerve about this and how interfere the system ability for that their environment externally, how that just the brain ultimately puts a child state, and then obviously letting them know what subluxation is, and I am this, and then obviously people understand the value of that and start care. So then I took this and I packaged it to turnkey because I did and test Facebook ads to get people to my talks. At first I had 0 people, and then people, 4 people. Now we regularly get 50 registration talks, and I'm at 4 with 40 doctors in the country and in Canada who are doing these programs and just doing amazing with it. It's in a nutshell.
Excellent. Now, what I love about that, okay, one of the things I love, because there's a whole, actually, it's not, but one of the things I love about that is that people have to understand that you've communicated that I'm a specialist, I focus on this aspect of health, all those other things are valuable. You need to do that. I'm not devaluing that service or their importance. Those are just other services you can go and should go to seek out help with your child. And this happens so many people think the same thing, and it's in communicating. It is a vital part of health. It may be to me it's not maybe, it's the most important part of health, right? Is making sure you have a clear operating, nervous system at its optimal level. However, that doesn't mean that it's a panacea.
Yeah, and that idea that you described is a political one, and perpetuate leaders in the profession, quote leaders, side who understand that that's not our position, yet perpetuate it to detract and attack us, and get the young generations to believe that. And so,
Right.
I have no tolerance for that sort of statement, because I know where it's coming from, and so it's just it's nonsensical. It's not the position that our profession holds.
Right. Absolutely. So it's vital to know that, hey, that is vital in a practice. It's not just vital, but it's really the optimal way to practice, in terms of communicating and be a clear message to the public about what it is that we do. And I know you're highly involved with the IFCO. That's part of what the IFCO stance is. Not a part of it, is their stance.
Yeah, I'd say the objective straight chiropractic movement did for a while kind of have some of those elements in it, or not. They had, not that it was a panacea, not at all, not that, but in terms of not referring or not recommending anything, and that's a really hardcore stance, which doesn't acknowledge that we can just say, hey, you might want to look into this. This is just a part of health, in an ADIO philosophy, giving people this ADIO information versus having them continue to go down this outside in approach. So that, and I think that's one of the big pieces, and the IFCO has a position statement, and the sustainability committee has a position statement on this. It's which has evolved and said that there are situations that chiropractors can recognize that are either an emergency or crisis situation, and that individual should go and see the appropriate professional. I mean, that's logical, and it's clinically safe and ethical and moral. So I think that's the best position there.
Right, absolutely. And you know what? It's the profession wake all the coffee short. There you go. Yeah, people have to do that. So now with this, tell me about, so you got 40 offices that are utilizing your program to vary implementation. Some of the things change in a lot of people in their care, patients in their care.
Yeah, well, Dr. Sean Berry is the first office that I really beta tested this, and so we refined it there, and just recently had a talk for him in his community, and we had 150 people there. We had 47 patients checking up for paid exam.
Second, let's just again, how many people for a class?
150 people there.
Any appointment? And they paid for the exam?
They paid $20 deposit, which the entire fee for the exam, when they paid the rest of it in his office, was $125, which it's normally $225 for his appointments, but at that event he did a one-time special for $100 off that evening.
So, and this is, and telling them about chiropractic, telling them about fish oil or ketos or a bunch of other, just telling them about chiropractic.
No, just pure chiropractic and the opportunity, and not just for their children. And this, I stress this in all my classes. I stress two things at the end. One, that this is not about treating their child's epilepsy or their child's ADHD or autism, but but clearing interference from their nervous system. And then because those parents are under some of the greatest stressors ever, and the whole family unit, saying, I highly recommend that all of you get checked. Let's find out what degree of interference is present, and how we can help improve the overall health and quality of life of your entire family. So we get lots of in there because they understand this is something that people should do. It should be a part of a healthy lifestyle, having your spine and nervous system checked. But we're just neglecting that.
Right. And I noticed that healer,
right,
20 to know to just an out of for getting care, that there's a profound difference in the family as a whole. And then, we talk about that in our office is helping people understand, like, subluxation is going to affect neural behavior patterning. It's going to create structural shifts, and your perception of your body and your world around you are impacted by that. So it's certainly going to impact these that you're working with better for off with subluxations, for sure, their behaviors, their perception and experience of the world.
Yeah, something I learned intimately because is that, and this helped me and practice more, and the nervous system is that the nervous system is like a finger. Every person's nervous system is, and based on the stressors throughout their lifetime, their individual genetics. So we have levels of sensation, and some people's sensory perception is really close to their bodies. Others is way out, far out here. And it makes sense if an individual is blind, their touch is greater, right? Mm-hmm. If an individual can't speak or communication and the ability to various forms of communication, nonverbal, energetic communication, all these different things is way stronger. And so when a parent is stressed, when that child feels, and this is every child, this is everybody, anyway, men with neuro-developmental situations, stress systems, they feel your emotions, they feel your stress energy. And so part of practicing, working with these different situations is we have to change our tone, be able to change our voice, our inner coming in a safe. There's so many to that I've developed. I'm going to be doing 24th here in San Diego. We'll be going a lot into the heart. Like, how do we enter even the space of the child, and how do we run their end of dysregulation? How do we help them regulate so that we can even access that nervous system to make the appropriate adjustive force there? Some of the things that I've become to understand there.
Absolutely. So excellent. Typically, are involved with helping mentor chiropractors and chiropractic teams and students. And I don't think you're doing that without a purpose by any means, right? Like, you don't do all that without having a strong purpose. What does the future look like in chiropractic?
The future looks in, the future, and that's one of the things I believe we have to, with the ability to see 20, 50 years in the future. Sometimes at the of personal relationships and other things. My understanding and to promote the bit of chiropractic, know how it would, my devotion is huge. That I'm just forward, and I'm doing things with people, individuals, or because I have to, and so practice future looks really bright. And here's why. We have now a situation where the science is rapidly forward. Functional in chiropractic, now we see the change with it. Just that the research is going to become to refer the lactic those are going to just look ridiculous. I would argue that an information to make them look at and theoretic in a way is validated and be a society. So the inability to share information, I think, continue to just. That's the thing, though. I think one of the barriers to us moving forward is our and part of the profession who's the need to act medicine, to create instead of physician and promote what practice is. And so, it's those, but I feel like we attract individuals who like the underdog staff, very much individualists, who's the machine, and which was in the beginning because we're going to right. I mean, they had some rugged individuals. Today, we need them best, and come with medical, all these individuals and their beliefs. Yes, do have some idea that are English, sure, have some idea of damaging and potentially harming, and individuals. They do. However, we have to have a vision so greater than ourselves. Those individuals that may die, that we have for the future can be positive. We're going to be in a constant. We're going to be on this merry-go-round like we are right now, not moving forward and serving the world in the capacity that we are below.
Right, and as far as there's no shortage of spines distorted, so there's a tremendous need for more chiropractors truly delivering chiropractic and communicating it. Regardless of the message, the nerve system has to be its optimal state, and obstructions to that you being regardless of if you're ill or well. You don't have to be ill to get well, so
and if we had a unified message, just simple points, instead of this we're so scattered,
Right.
We could actually begin to shift the public perception.
And that's a big focus. I know this of the Berkshire's Philosophy Weekend. It's the focus of the Mile High Weekend, is that there's a place that's a home that people go to, and they know all that is there is that message from every speaker, from every exhibitor. Sure, there's lots of places you can go and maybe learn how to do a sports physical or something or whatever. And if you're into that kind of thing, not that there's anything wrong for that, if that floats your butt. There's no short stuff, but there's purely, to end. So that's what we're doing with Mile High.
Awesome. I really appreciate you, Danny, and Rochelle, and everything you guys do as individually and together. And man, if we had 100 more of you, what a profession we would have.
Yeah, back at you, for sure. And with that, let's say something about that. Now, if people want to find out more about the neurodevelopmental disorders program, or what's their steps of how they can learn more? And I will put this in the blog notes. So if people driving don't cause any subluxations, listen, and the blog notes will have the links there. But go ahead.
Yeah, so my website, chiropractic.com, chiropractic.is.com, and that particular program, you go to chiropractic.is.com/unraveling. And the program currently isn't open. It's not open enrollment period right now. It only open 3 to 4 years. And here's why. We have doctors join the those doctors, take care of them, get them going and moving forward. So we limit to a certain number, typically 20 offices per enrollment period, and then open it up. I think the net enrollment in July. I got to check this out. Just something to throw out there, people. We have some other really cool programs, so working on that. Some other are going to be for target markets because they want to take care of kids, especially with some of these more intense challenges. So have some really cool programs coming out. Other that releasing soon. So
outstanding, very, very so. For all you chiropractic team, most importantly, helping chiropractic and chiropractic teams is really the reason for doing that is helping the public. So that's really the is that there's so many people that could be living life better off than where they are. So I am super psyched for you to be presenting at Mile High. Beyond awesome, and I know you presented at my wellness practice program, stellar. Also great to presented the Berkeley. Do not how for it's be outstanding for seeing August. Is there anything that you wear?
No, I think we're damn excited. It's my first Mile High and not my last time. I did this and kind of got me fighting. All you're doing.
Look forward to see. First of all, when you ask, share someone. So do it. Share it. Someone share it to the podcast. So we'll get exposed. Practice. Subscribe to iTunes, Stitcher, or YouTube, wherever it is that you look at this, and there's a bunch of other channels as well. So make sure you do that. And then lastly, book your hotel and flight and register for Mile High. www.milehighchirohotel.com. I'm actually saying that first because there's only 215 rooms in the hotel, and they're already half booked. I have no doubt the hotel is going to be, sold out, and you do not want to stay somewhere else. You want to stay near the action. You're not going to save all that much money staying somewhere else. We've got a great deal on the place. Number two, get your plane ticket. It's cheap to fly to Colorado in August. It's a very reasonable time to fly there relative, like flying in ski season's bad, in terms of that. You're going to love chiropractic Colorado in the summer. And then the other thing is register for the event, www.milehighchiro.org. So look forward to seeing everybody. And thank you again for your time, Dr. Steve Tullius. I know you're quite busy. And, one of the things that we unfortunately didn't have time for is talk about Liam Schubel. So I'm glad we didn't get to squeeze that in. There just wasn't enough time to do that.
Yeah, that wouldn't have served any purpose. So.
Yeah. So look forward to August. Like our page on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Mile High Chiro.